Hoosier fans, if you're like me, you're absolutely livid after that game. You can't curse in the first 8 seconds of a YouTube video. Let's get into this game. I am so mad.
Watford 3 on the way. Oh!
Well, the Hoosiers went to Wisconsin and really did the unthinkable on Friday night. And is lose a game and look like a bunch of dumbasses doing it. This shit runs downhill. I think we're past the first 8 seconds. This shit runs downhill, and it's all coming out of Mike Woodson's ass, and it's all rolling down to everybody else on this team. I heard his comments after the game. I watched his press conference after the game. The stuff he's saying, although not a real dirty play, and it's not like it was a aggressive elbow that CJ Gunn threw at this guy, but we now have the reputation of being a dirty team. And it doesn't help. I mean, you're doing it to the guy who is systematically this Max Klesbit guy who transferred to Wisconsin from Wofford. This guy comes to Wisconsin and he is just systematically just beating Indiana in every single way. I mean, he looked like Patrick Mahomes combined with Pete Maravich, and Indiana's heads were spinning as they tried to play defense against this guy as he made pass and shot and right play after right play. So you're not going to get any, like when this guy's tearing you up, you think you're going to elbow him in the jaw. Like I said, it was nothing like egregiously awful. It was just a really bad look for Indiana basketball. And this is how it goes. You got a guy on the team like CJ Gunn. He's been on the team. This is his second year. You got a guy like Xavier Johnson who's getting away with doing the type of bullshit that he does out there. I mean, like, this should be more of a referendum on senior leadership on this team. There is none, because the senior leadership we have on this team grabs guys by the balls, gets kicked out of 2 games in a row. He gets no, CJ Gunn sitting there. He gets no, nobody goes after him. Who's going after him? I mean, all the fans are, but he's still playing in the games. Nothing visual to us has really happened to him besides just being kicked out of the game. I mean, that's what he got in trouble for. He's had 2 flagrants. A guy like CJ Gunn watches this type of bullshit that goes on, and then he knows, I can do it. He did it. He didn't get kicked off the team. And you know what? There will be no punishment for CJ Gunn going forward unless Mike Woodson wants to really shake the bushes. It should really be both of those guys. And other guys on this team should be holding these guys accountable. Can they do that? I don't think so. I think Mike Woodson stands in their way. I think of a guy like Gabe Cupps or Galloway, and there's all sorts of different type of leaders. I don't think Galloway is a real vocal type of leader. That's okay, but we need somebody. We need somebody who's on the team. Now, last year, this team was policed, I believe, more. I think Trace Jackson Davis was a guy that had his head on his shoulders straight. I think Race Thompson was a guy who did everything he could to better himself as a player at Indiana, even though he did lack talent. So this team was policed by seniors, and we had the shooter that never turned out to be that great of a shooter like we thought, from Northwestern. So we had senior leadership on a team last year that was policing everybody. If you want to watch a video on the PBD podcast when Tom Brady was on there, you want to hear a great thing about accountability, watch that with Tom Brady, because it's got to be, I mean, on a football team, you have a lot more players to think about, and that's where it's got to start, with the individuals, not with the coaches. The coaches are going to implement this as their system, and accountability has to be a part of it, and it's got to live in every single player that's playing out there, and it's just not happening. Nobody is accountable for this type of bullshit on a team like this. Even Mike Woodson, he wants to make excuses. That's all we are as Indiana basketball fans. We're a bunch of excuses. Well, Khalil Ware is not playing tonight, so Indiana's going to be shorthanded. I mean, for a year, oh, Xavier Johnson's hurt, last year. Imagine if we could be better with Xavier Johnson. We've seen enough. The effort that Mike Woodson puts into this team is only enough effort to get us to the round of 32. That's it. That's why I've said in these videos, it's a transitional period for Indiana because of that. He's helped us at least pull ourselves out of the cellar we were in after Archie Miller just munged up the entire thing by just not doing anything that needed to be done. I think Mike Woodson has bridged that gap, but I think we need to go to the next level. And to go to the next level, there's only one thing we got to do, and that's get a guy with a bag full of money to go down to FAU and get old Dusty May on that plane come April and come back to Bloomington, because I believe this guy will bring accountability to the program. I've heard a lot of people say Bruce Pearl, Chris Beard. One thing I don't like, if you look up Bruce Beard, I was really high on him being the coach a few years ago, and then he had some like domestic violence, and I don't know the exact what everything went down with Chris Beard, but that concerns me a lot when accountability is already a thing. We can't have a coach that's beating the crap out of his wife. I mean, no. So I don't think those old guys are going to do it. We need young blood. When Bob Knight came in here, he was virtually unknown, and he brought a system from Army in a way of doing things that we fell in love with, and we still love the way that it was back then, and we need to return to just that type of discipline. Like, let's talk a little bit now about how the game goes. I mean, it's laughable. The first, 16, 17 minutes of the first half that they put that stat up there that Indiana only shot 3 3-pointers. I mean, that's just like the only guy on our team that looks to shoot is Mackenzie Mbako. Cups needs to shoot. Gunn needs to shoot. Although I think Gunn, I would just get rid of this guy. I mean, get rid of him. Like, seriously. That's the message that is not being sent on this team. Xavier Johnson should have been gone 2 weeks ago. He really should have. After spending all that time on the bench by the coach, and that if you're going to come out and do some shit like that, he should have been gone. And now we're seeing the real consequences of what not kicking a guy like that off the team, what that really means. And it's just such a shit show to watch right now. It is. And the problems are so easily solved with somebody that comes in there and bangs heads. We just saw this on the Colts. We go from having this players coach, Mr. Nice Guy Frank Reich, and with virtually less talent in the same roster, the Colts, by bringing in a guy who's just not going to take a lot of shit from people, is like, yeah, you want to gamble, you're off the team. Like, that's it. The mistakes, we don't want to hear the excuses, because when the coach is making excuses for the players are making excuses for themselves. We're making excuses for the coaches. I'm not making any excuses for any of this shit. Like, it's just got to be better from the very beginning. It's got to be better from through and through, from recruiting on up. The first, I don't know what is promised to these NIL players. I would love to know. I would love to know if anything is promised to them. I would just love to see Indiana going back to just bringing in 4-year players. That's where the success lies. And then if you can sprinkle in, a recruit here and there, or somebody from the transfer portal, not recruits, but like a one and done type player, you can sprinkle in a guy who might be a one and done type player that's going to like push you over the top. But you got to have that system really in place, and the accountability in place with a core group of players and guys that are going to hold each other accountable and hold the entire team accountable.
Worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the Tylenol?
The next thing, why I think it's easy to fire Woodson is because for 2 years, we listened to him talk about Trace Jackson Davis and the team he was given, and how I just got to play through the post because these are the guys I've been given. And I think all of us saw that he did get more out of those guys than what Archie Miller did. and we were more successful almost with the same type of team. Now, those guys had massive amounts of experience. I mean, they should have been playing better. Trace Jackson Davis played 4 years of college, and Race Thompson played 6 years of college, and so did, I cannot remember his name, the guy from Northwestern. He was so, I guess, forgettable. But we gave him all the excuses then, and now that he brought in these guys, Ware, Renew, and I know Ware didn't play in the, but all we do is play through the post. We have to kick the ball out. That is like not ever happening. And Renew balled out in this game. I want to give hats off to Renew. I mean, if anybody, he scored like 25 points. Renew was balling out in this game for sure. We have, I mean, he is our best like around the basket player. I just don't know where they go. I don't understand why they don't shoot and why they can't shoot. They played a better game on free throws this game. They were better rebounding this game. They were better on free throws in this game, but it still wasn't enough because Wisconsin, you can tell they have a system in place there. I'll tell you, this is a fallacy of our thinking as IU fans. We think that these teams like Wisconsin are good like every single year. Wisconsin's not had a good team since 2014-15. My point of all of this is like, it's the guys that we're getting. I mean, Purdue is getting the guys that we used to get. Like, where is Pat Graham? Where is Brian Evans? We are supposed to be like the sharpshooting capital of the world. Sharpshooting capital of the world. That's what we are. We're Indiana basketball. We should be able to shake some of these farms in the area and get a guy that's able to just knock down shots. They're around. They're still around. Fletcher Lawyer's not on Indiana. I mean, they're still there. We're just not bringing those guys in. You bring in a bunch of guys that are all going to be 4-year players, and then you just add like a Mackenzie Mbako. He is massively improving this year. Of guys developing, I don't want to say that nobody on this team is developing. We're just not developing guards and shooters. Renew is a really good player. And Mbako, I don't know. It doesn't seem like when he shoots the ball that that's part of the offense. It just seems like he just gets it and he's wide open and he's just going to shoot it and make it. That's the difference. It's not like he's running baseline and running off screens and the plays are designed for him to come off a screen and catch and shoot. That's why with Mbako, I think he's just doing that stuff himself. Did Jalen Hood-Schifino, did he develop under Indiana, or was he just a super talented player? I think he was just a super talented player. I mean, he came in as a freshman and just was really, really good handling the ball and shooting the ball and catch and shoot. So we need to develop guys like Todd Leary, a guy like that's going to be a leader as a junior and senior and play off the bench as a freshman and sophomore. I don't know what we are doing at Indiana. And I have far, far more things to talk about, the things that I am really pissed off with this team. So I'm going to spend the rest of the day thinking about how they can make this better, or if it even has a chance to get better in any type of way. Right now, it is just awful to watch. We're all watching it. Hey guys, I want to thank you for tuning into Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. I know I made this video and I'm super mad at what is happening with Indiana basketball, but thank you so much for joining this family of people that love Indiana basketball and love to comment about it. So thank you very much for all of you out there. So let's thank our sponsor, Reynolds Wrap. For 75 years, Reynolds Wrap has provided us with aluminum foil that helps save you time in the kitchen. Save time on cleanup by using Reynolds Wrap. Don't forget it. Don't be left without it. Reynolds Wrap, it's an absolute must-have. You got to have it in your kitchen at all times. If you don't, you'll be wasting a lot of time scraping nasty sweet potato juices off of pans and all sorts of other caramelized goodies. Use Reynolds Wrap. Make it a lot easier to clean up. Thank you to Reynolds Wrap for sponsoring Indiana Sports Connection. So I just want to conclude this video by, we are very emotional after these games. is a stupid, stupid move by CJ Gunn to elbow that guy. And we look like a bunch of schmucks out there. And that is what is really bad. And you know what? If the ghost of Bob Knight would have been there when that guy was doing that and Mike Woodson was making the complaining to the ref, if the ghost of Bob Knight would have come to life right there, he would have smacked both Mike Woodson and CJ Gunn in the back of the head and been like, what the hell are you doing? That's my final thought. I was just thinking, because it is incredible what we are watching out there, and we have the right to be pissed off. You know what? This is half as our money, tax money anyway. This is a public university. We as fans have the right to be pissed off about this shit, and we're not going to take it anymore. All right? Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.